Welcome everybody. You already heard Esbjörn say what he was going to talk about. So for all of you, here's Esbjörn.
Thank you. And yeah, now I can think I can hear my own voice. So good to see you. And I'm happy to be announcing this. We thought that it could be a good idea to sort of intro this a second time. And what this is going to be is sorry, now I'm looking at the screen here a bit. Yeah, there is where I want it to be. Like I said, we created this track in order to sort of outline a new kind of leadership that we think is needed in a complex world, and that is something else than most of us see every day and most of us are used to. I'm sure that some of us are already practicing it, and that is great, but we feel like there's a lack of good examples, tools, perspectives, and all sorts of things that you can use to get started with this. And when you see the list of talks that we have put together, all of them good and all of them great with great people, it's still like a long list of talks. And we had an idea to give sort of a meta perspective on that, and to give sort of a different map. When we talk about that we want to get away from the frameworks and the leadership that is sort of scripted and you follow the map all the time, that doesn't necessarily mean that we want to throw away all maps and that all maps are bad, but we don't want you to, or us, to be fixed on just one of them so that you only can follow one, but rather have several and pick from that what works in the situation. And here's a different map for you, if you will. Some of you may have heard of this before. It's a tool that I found very useful called Integral 4 Quadrants. And I hope you can see the screen. Yeah, good. This may seem a little bit complex. I'm just going to go through it really quickly, and it's sort of opening the door a little bit. If you think it sounds interesting, you can look it up or talk to me in the break or something. But this is just going to be a sort of quick intro. The idea is to separate things into 4 quadrants. On the 2 upper quadrants, there will be individual perspectives, you could say. And on the 2 bottom quadrants, there is a collective angle. And on the left, there's an abstract perspective. And on the right, there's a sort of more concrete aspect. That turns this into the 4 quadrants. Upper left, which is understanding mindsets, and for example, what worldview you have, what perspective you have on things, what your thoughts are and motivation you have. And there you can see that that is individual because it's for you, and it's abstract because it's in your head. So it's not, I can't tell what each of you are thinking. I can guess, but I cannot tell for sure. And on the upper right, you have your abilities and behavior. That is something that I can observe. So it's still individual, but it's what I can see you do and how you act and so on. So your practices, your expertise, your achievements, what you do, your acts. On the bottom, there are the collective versions, which means that you have to be more than one to do them. In order to have a culture or to have relationships, you need to be more than one person normally. And in that box is stuff like values and the norms, the history, your purpose together as an organization, for example. But it's still abstract because it's kind of in the walls. It's in the air. It's not something that you really can be sure of that it is there. On the right side, on the other hand, the processes and structures, that is something that you can create an organizational chart about or something like that. So the laws, the rules, the KPIs, the how the organizational is organized, whatever. So it's concrete and it's collective. Sorry for this quick run through, but it's just to give you a quick idea of this map, how it works. You can use this for many things. But one thing is that if you have something in each of these quadrants, whatever you're doing, if it's an initiative or a project or something else, if you have details from each of these quadrants, it is likely going to be more successful, or the chance of getting successful is bigger, because these quadrants sort of reinforce each other. So if you do something that enforces or strengthens someone's mindset or understanding of something, what they're doing, it's going to be better. And vice versa. If you are creating a habit that supports a certain mindset or a certain culture, they are reinforcing each other. And we use this for, among other things, to put together the agenda for today. So here are the talks that we've collected, but in this map instead of just in a list. And I'm not going to read through them all. I hope you can see them, and they are in the program, so you can of course take a photograph and just go back and read the text later. But as you can see, we thought at least that 3 of the talks were more into mindset and understanding, upper left. 1 was in culture and relationship. 2 were in the processes and structures on the down right, and then 5 were in the abilities and behavior on the upper right. So one way of looking at this is to say that, yeah, we covered all the quadrants, sort of. Of course, this is not an exact science or anything, but it's an indication that we have something everywhere, which is probably good, because it will probably give you a better, more complete idea of this. There is something from everyone and for everyone to make this a stronger experience. Of course, you're free to come to whatever of these, or whichever of these talks you want, but consider that it might be a better experience if you have all the puzzle pieces and forming the whole puzzle. If you just go to some of these, you may get like half of it and not the rest. Just a thought. Another thing you can get from watching this is that there's, I hope you can see that there's a slight skewed thing going on here. There are more talks on the right side than on the left side. And that is a pretty good representation of how our world seems to be working. Companies, organizations, people are usually focusing a little bit more on the right side. Well, that's my right, I guess yours there. Because especially companies often like stuff that they can write papers about. So stuff on the right, how people should behave, and what processes and structures and rules and stuff, that is things that you can write or create posters on the wall or whatever. Whereas culture and mindset is something that is usually difficult for companies to work with. It's not impossible, not at all, but for many companies it's difficult, or they think it's difficult. And this corresponds to us as well, of course, but also the talks that came into us. We could only put together a schedule or an agenda with the talks that we got from some of you. So this is interesting and worth bearing in mind. Like, to make this really complete, it would have been maybe better if it was balanced, like more balanced than it is. Just something to keep in mind. And a tip, if you are not able to make it balanced, it can be good to create that in your head for yourself. Like, what is something more that we could do to work on the culture or the mindset of my organization, my team, or myself? Now I'm thinking if there's anything else I should bring up on this. Yeah, I guess I could say this. It's called Integral 4 Quadrants, like I said before. The other part that is usually accompanied by the quadrants is the value systems. So if you find this to be interesting, you can look up integral or integral theory. There is a book by a guy called Ken Wilber that some of you may have heard of, who has the humble name A Theory of Everything. And that brings up both the quadrants and the value systems in a way more deeper and thorough way than I can say now. You can also come talk to me in one of the breaks if you want to hear more about this. I hope that you now have a bit of a better picture of how we thought when we put this together. It's one type of map. There are several, of course, but it was one of the things that we thought about when we put this together. Thank you.